All right, here we are, Purist Winter Drive 2018 on the red carpet. We have seen so many cool people, but I really want to introduce you to Carina Quan, the Carina Quan. Inspiration, I would say, of the backpack drive, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to steal your thunder, but you're kind of a big deal.
I wouldn't say a big deal.
You could say it, it's okay.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Yes, all right.
Yes!
Cheers.
So how long have you been associated with Purist? How did that all happen?
Oh, geez. I would say like about 5 years now. Really just started because it's just a common interest. Like charity work is something that I love to do. And realistically, that's why I became a teacher, you know?
Yeah.
So giving back was something that Purist was all about. So I checked it out, fell in love with the organization, and the rest is kind of history. I just started volunteering at every single event, and then the backpack drive, as you know, literally started with just one backpack. I saw a student walking down, just the hallway. She was really torn, tattered backpack, had duct tape on it, staples on it. I was like, you poor thing. And so I didn't really think much of it. I bought a backpack, and I wanted to share that love and just say, hey, maybe we should start doing this more for the kids.
Right.
And that one message just sent a ton of messages, because after that, Sean was like, how many backpacks do you need? Within a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, we ended up getting 60 backpacks, and we spread it all throughout the low socioeconomic students at our school site that didn't come from like a very privileged background.
Right.
And we lose sight of that because I work in Temple City, you know what I mean? And we typically think of Temple City as like an affluent community, and affluent community.
You say Temple City, I think M5. I don't know why.
Yeah. And that's really what it is.
Yes.
But
Right.
we also have that population of students that their parents work 3-4 jobs just to ensure that they can pay rent, so their child can have a high API or high performing school to go to. So, those are the students that we wanted to reach out to, and there were 60 at my school site. They bagged 60 backpacks within an evening. It was me, as well as I think 7 or 8 other Purist guys just showed up, and they delivered it, hand delivered it, gave a very inspirational message to my students, and just made them feel like they cared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And from then we were like, you know what? Let's go above that. Let's reach 500 backpacks.
Yeah.
So that same summer, we ended up doing 500 backpacks,
Wow.
and then the second summer it was 1,500.
Wow.
And that's really how it started, and it's just a beautiful story because that's who I am, and it's really what Purist is all about.
From one backpack to over 1,500,
Yeah.
and now impacting kids throughout Southern California, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I mean, that's pretty much
Huge.
Purist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that is Purist. There's really no one word to describe it. It's all action, and that's what I love about it. Is that it's not about what you say or how you promote it. It's really just what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there were over 40 people this morning. We don't get paid. We are thoroughly just here for the enjoyment of the community, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
And there are so many volunteers.
Yeah.
Exactly to your point this morning. It's cold.
Yeah.
You're not getting paid, right? And you're just out there, but you guys were hustling.
Yeah.
Hustling. And
I
there's
am
a lot
not
of
in the greatest shape, and
You
I
look
walked up
great.
that hill 5 times.
That's insane. And I see a lot of young kids out there volunteering as well, right? High school, junior high school.
6 of my students, they came today, and
How wonderful is that,
again,
right?
they don't get much out of it. They just get, they love cars, but at the same time, they see the smiles that it puts on people's faces.
Yes.
And it really gets us in the spirit, and just the idea of giving. And I want the future generation to really be that way too.
Yeah. Talk a little bit, if you can, about what's that like. When that kid or student who doesn't really have everything at their beck and call gets a backpack. What does that mean to that one student?
Oh, it means everything. I mean, you think about these kids. They come from poverty backgrounds. They come from a background of probably teachers that really don't see them as students that really do well. They come to school unprepared, and a lot of teachers, I will say, they want to care, but as the other side of them, they're so academically taught in school. Like, why are you not coming to school prepared? Why didn't you have a pencil? And I feel like sometimes they jump to the conclusion, and I think it's different for me because I grew up in poverty. So it's a little emotional for me. So I apologize if I cry a little bit. But I see it differently. If they don't come to school with that stuff, it's probably because of other stuff.
Right.
So
not that they don't care, right?
Yeah. I hate that I cry always on Purist
I
TV.
love that I'm the one that made you cry. Because I woke up today and said, we're going to get Carina to break it
That's
down.
actually what he told me.
Yeah, but it's very touching. Obviously, it's not just a story. This is real life, real kids, and those things again, they make a difference, right?
They do, and it's just like seeing that one person can actually care about them.
Yeah.
And these are people that don't even know them, you know, and they're willing to do all these different things for them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was there this year, and it was, I think, the best thing about it was for me to see when they're actually getting the backpack, and how their faces are lighting up, and because it is a small thing for some people, but it's not for them. It's a huge thing. It's a gift. It's a real.
I feel
gift.
like I want you to. I want to just hug you, so I'm going in for the hug. I hug everyone, as you know. What is it like? I mean, there's still this car component, and it's something that some other folks have touched on when you talk about Purists. You know, someone steps out of a Ferrari, a lot of times people assume that person doesn't necessarily care, but yet they're coming delivering backpacks. What does that aspect do? I mean, this aspect.
It really breaks down the barriers. I mean, when we think about people in, you know, very expensive homes, you know, $1 million homes and $1 million cars, whatever, $500,000 cars, we automatically think that there's this kind of house on a hill where they're looking down on the rest of the world,
right?
And that they're above us, and it humbles everyone here.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about class, it's not about gender, it's not about race, ethnicity. There's nothing here. We are literally joined by one passion, and that was
Sean Lee.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Sean Lee is our mutual passion.
Edit that.
But,
I just
you know,
saw an opportunity to
but
say
it really is crazy. I mean, you know, it's one person's good soul.
Yeah.
And intentions and bringing all of this together into fruition is really beautiful to see. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And if it takes Sean Lee, then Sean Lee it is. You know, I fully applaud and I commend the gentleman for everything that he does for the community. And, you know, looking at his background is very similar, you know, and he just wants to give back.
Yeah. And you too. I mean, that one backpack, you know, thousands of backpacks later. So
what would be your Christmas wish for the kids out there? What would you wish them this year?
It's cliche, but I really wish all of them to just be happy, you know? It's something that we forget. I mean, my husband reminds me of this all the time, and it drives me crazy because, you know, I come from a high-stress work environment. As you know, being a teacher is not the easiest. But he always tells me, you know, honey, happiness is a choice.
Yeah.
And our kids don't remember that because sometimes their choices are not made for them. Or they're already made for them. And they don't have a choice, really.
Yes.
You know, given where they're coming from, their home life, their friend life, their naturalistic community environment, there's so many other factors that play into their happiness, you know, and if we can just give them one aspect to focus on that is joyful, that is happy, I think that's just amazing. Yeah.
That's it right there. If we could put Carina in a bottle, you'd have Purist in a bottle. So you have a Purist heart. It's such an honor to speak to you and hear your perspective. Purist Winter Drive 2018 on the red carpet with Purist TV. Thank you again so much for everything you do and all the volunteers. It's great to see you. Thank you.
I told myself I wasn't gonna cry.
I'm so glad you did though. I literally was like, oh, Carina's got the best perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.